Hey, I'm going to try to do this fast because it's 2 a.m. and I'm going to go to sleep. So, Yeezus book, still available for pre order. Going to be the best and most comprehensive book that has come out about Yeezus, and you are going to have your minds blown by the narrative, thematic, and production deconstruction that this thing entails. It's awesome. All right, so let's get into some of this crazy news. Oh, didn't read that article yet. Forgot about it. So first up, Kanye dropped 2 songs Friday. Maybe 1.5 songs. Some would probably argue no songs. One was called Ye versus the People, and the other was called Lift Yourself. And one happened to be a joke, and the other is more of a dialogue through music rather than actually a song. So people have had mixed reactions. So Ye versus the People is Kanye and T.I. If you're watching this and you haven't heard this, that blows my mind. But it's Ye and T.I. having a conversation back and forth talking about Kanye's recent political views and how people feel about that, right? So T.I. represents the people. Kanye is defending himself and explaining a lot of his thoughts and feelings. And I think I know myself and other people that I've talked to on Twitter got comfort from this because he does explain why he put on the MAGA hat. He does explain where he's coming from and trying to unite people. It's not just about him suddenly swerving into conservative political views or anything like that. And after all of his tweets over the last couple of weeks, people were starting to worry, is he going conservative with all of this stuff? And conservatives were hopeful, is he going conservative with all of this stuff? And the result is no. Ye is creating conversations, and this is a perfect example of that, especially the last line. All right, Tip, we could be rapping about this all day, man. Why don't we just cut the beat off and let the people talk? Which gets into a lot of what Kanye's been doing with showing text messages from different people that he's been talking to in different perspectives, sharing videos of people with different perspectives. It all kind of creates this conversation that people are having that they hadn't been having before. And part of that gets discussed on this video that Kanye released a couple hours ago. And it's him and T.I. talking before they actually put together Ye versus the People. And T.I. had some serious questions for Kanye. And watching the video, you see a Kanye that doesn't seem like unhinged or crazed or like anything other than thoughtful and controlled and interested. He even talks about at one point that hearing the positive and negative responses to everything that he's been doing, he views that energy as kind of cutting the diamond, so to speak, and helping sharpen his mind, which I know me being on Twitter has helped destroy my mind, but at the same time, it has really opened up, I guess, my perspective and the various perspectives that people have. Even if I don't agree with them, I'm getting a better understanding of their talking points and where they're coming from and trying to find out why. Some people have no actual answer and just keep spouting bullshit at you. Even when you're saying, like, I'm interested in what you're saying, tell me more, they're just like, you'll never get it. Okay. So this video is fantastic and even further shows that Kanye, the key moments, mind you, happens, is about 137 here.
Let's get that out. Just the ability to do what no one said.
Bear with me.
What had you
Bear with me.
understand that I did not wear that hat to hurt them? Half the shit Trump does, I don't agree with. What hat do you agree with? Let's get that out.
It's a key moment.
The ability to do what no one said you could do, to do the impossible, is the most inspiring thing to me. Did you play that?
So he had a very serious look on his face when he talked about not agreeing with half the shit that Trump does. And that's the face of somebody that's just like, that dude is fucked up. I don't agree with half the shit that he does because Jesus, holy hell. But you see that he says that Trump winning the presidency was the most inspiring thing to him. And that's been a huge talking point for people that haven't just been reading the headlines, but have read the fine print about what Kanye's been saying. It hasn't been about politics. It's always been about the fact that Trump was just himself, as despicable and disgusting of a person as that may be, and won because he communicated honestly and people gravitated towards that. However, like, crazy the things that he was saying, he resonated with people. And I think Kanye's view of it is the fact that if he could do that, saying the shit that he said, if we had people acting out of love and acting like themselves, then what other things that should have been impossible can we make possible? If even that dumb, stupid thing that happened, which was Trump winning the presidency, could happen, what else could we do? If people are themselves, free-thinking, energized, and operating out of love instead of Trump's position of hate. I think that's not to assume where Kanye's coming from, but I think that's a lot of where he's coming from. So that conversation, I think, along with Ye versus the People, really contextualizes all of the dramatic Kanye tweets and the reactions to them over the last couple weeks, and shows that he's not some different guy that's completely abandoned his principles, that he is just operating from this place of trying to make a difference in a way that T.I. says in this video he's taking an unorthodox way there. And, you know, nobody knows what works and doesn't work in this world. We think we do, but for the most part, we have no fucking idea what's going to have a short-term impact, a long-term impact, good or bad. And Kanye is just trying what he thinks is best, and that might have some short-term problems, but will it have a long-term benefit? We'll see. So the second song, Kanye teased by saying, "I'm going to drop a song with a verse that will bring Ebro the closure he's been seeking. The bars, fire." It's called Lift Yourself. And you can see some of my tweets responding to that. But everybody got excited, and then a few hours later, Kanye dropped Lift Yourself. And you get this extended sample that just keeps going and repeating the Lift Yourself, and the beat's insane. And when you finally get Kanye, he teases it like, this next verse though, like these bars, watch, this is some shit. And then he just says, poop diddy scoop, scoop diddy whoop, whoop dee scoop dee poop, poop diddy scoop dee, scoopity whoop, whoop dee scoop, whoop poop, poop diddy whoop scoop. It's just nonsense over this fire beat, and that's what you get. It was a complete tease before he dropped Ye versus the People, and it just shows what a fucking troll Kanye is. But at the end of the day, people were really enjoying the song, not as music, but as kind of a sonic meme, right? It was something that people could laugh at, get Kanye's sense of humor, quote, make memes from, have fun with. And, you know, between this and Ye versus the People, which also isn't music, it's a conversation set to music. It's a conversation with a soundtrack done lyrically. And it's, I guess, political in nature, but it's definitely something that adds to the conversation outside of music. It's not supposed to be just this song that people consume and enjoy, but it's supposed to be something that gets them thinking and has musical elements to it, but is it designed to be the best song that Kanye West could make? But unfortunately, a lot of people haven't seen this. This Frank Guan article, Kanye West Theater of the Absurd, just shits all over both songs. They talks about how dumb Lift Yourself is, and talks about how bad Kanye's ideas are on Ye versus the People. West's ideas half-baked would be calling West's ideas half-baked would be too generous. Calling him a fool would be beside the point. Which, no appreciation for the nuance, the context of Kanye's tweets, what he might be trying to do with it or succeed with it, how it fits into the current political climate, nothing like that. It's just a judgment of him being narcissistic, and a judgment of the song. It's really bad. In absence of a ghostwriter, his delivery is as facile and awkward as the meanings the lyrics transmit are ludicrous and vain. To me, that's such a short-minded and stupid view of the subject matter, that it's not looking at the broader context and what this could mean to conversation or viewpoints, or this being outside the realm of pop music or commercial music, but is in the realm of something else, a song made in the moment to the response of what people are saying in real time, not art that is poured over and refined and made into this beautiful commercial product, but is something raw that's given to us. That's very fascinating to me because artists don't fucking do that. Who can you point to that you're like, oh yeah, Katy Perry also does this, Miley Cyrus does this, Adam Levine does this, Jay-Z does this. None of them do this shit. This is something unique in the spectrum of what an artist does and how an artist converses, not just with fans, not just with the public, not just with his peers, not just with the industry, but just with the world. That's really fucking cool. This article doesn't get it. Frank doesn't get it. Then we have an article from the Chicago Tribune. Maybe Greg Kot would be a little better here in understanding. Kanye West, genius or dude who's gone too far this time? And it's a little more neutral. So it just gives the idea that it bases it in the advanced genius theory. Are they out of their minds or ahead of their time? And it poses Kanye in that frame. And kind of overviews the lyrics. Overviews Trump and Kanye's relationship with him. And just talks about Kanye turning controversy into a marketing strategy and what price. So it's a fair article that just explores the questions that come up regarding this. Has he gone too far? Does he care? I think raising the questions is good. Giving a more journalistic approach that's neutral, shows the perspectives, is good. I don't know if it's as deep as it could be or should be, but I don't know if the Chicago Tribune needs to be as deep as it could be or should be. It's up to others that want to specialize in this kind of content, like us at Watching the Throne. I don't even think I gave an intro, did I? Hey, I'm Chris Lambert, and this is the Kanye West News Roundup presented by Watching the Throne for the time from Friday, whatever the fuck that was, April 26th or something, through April 30th, 27th through the 30th. Welcome. So Greg has a more neutral article, and then it pains me to say, but Corbin Reef, who has been on the show, on our podcast, to tell his story and share his story, really took Kanye to task. Hated both songs, unloaded on both songs, unloaded on Kanye, and I completely disagree with everything Corbin said, which is kind of sad. I still love him, you know? We had a story together, and it was a great story, great time talking to him. I respect his views, and I just think he has a very headline over fine print perspective on Kanye here. In Ye versus the People, the biggest loser of all is Kanye West. He's revealed himself to be willfully ignorant, self-serving narcissist, and many of those same fans who have helped him secure the exclusive Adidas deal, who have bought the shoes, the albums, the overpriced clothes, and the concert tickets over the years, who have helped him get out his dreams, aren't going to stick around and take it much longer. For the longest time, the music was worth the massive ego trip and boneheaded public meltdowns. The time has come and gone. Which, we're just getting two songs that were made in the short term. One a joke to alleviate tension, and the other as I just said, in the moment conversation to address concerns in real time. That's not music. That's not the album that's coming out June 1st. That's not the album that's coming out June 8th. This seems to really jump the gun, really not have the nuance of what Kanye's been saying, but at the same time, I think it does capture a perspective on Kanye, which is that general macro, I'm not paying attention to exactly what he's saying, I'm just looking at what people are talking about, and I disagree with that. and I don't think I like him anymore. Which is fair. I mean, if that's all the information you have and that's the reaction that you have, so be it. But I do think that, I don't know, nuance matters. Information matters. We need to know where people are coming from. And if you don't have that, it's hard to judge them. I mean, some actions, yeah, if somebody fucking murders somebody, yeah, you can judge them. But when it just comes to what Kanye's been doing on Twitter, and you don't know what's going on inside his house, the conversations he's been having with people, what other people who have talked with him have been saying about his positions, I just don't agree with this approach. So, getting into political parties, Kanye, as he's getting into more of the conversations and trying to stir up conversations, he shared a few tweets today that were text messages. One from somebody named Steve, who was saying that the Republicans were the ones that defended, that freed the slaves, that did the Civil Rights Act, and it was the Democrats that wanted slavery, were against the Civil Rights Act, and those are facts. And Kanye tweeted it. And then a bunch of people responded with like, no, that's not what happened. I mean, that's what happened. That's true. But in 1964, after the Civil Rights Act, disgruntled Southerners ended up adopting the Republican Party. So that what we currently know as the Republican Party was, for the longest time, known as the Democratic Party. And what we now know as the Democratic Party was, for the longest time, known as the Republican Party. So that's what John Legend, Charlemagne the God, and Talib Kweli texted to Kanye. And Kanye then shared those instant messages? No, what? Texts. He shared those texts on Twitter. Instant messages. What fucking year is it? So after that, people started debating, and it was crazy on Kanye's timeline because there were all these conservatives coming in saying the switch never happened. I learned way more today about the politics leading up to 1964 and post 1964 than I ever did. The short of it, in case you're curious, is that the South was very democratic in that way. It's true what Steve had said initially. The Democratic Party was the post-Confederate party of choice, and the Republicans were the party that freed the slaves. And leading up to the Civil Rights Act, it was the Republican Party that was mostly in favor of it, with Democrats being less favorable. But the truth of the matter is that the voting laid in the geography, right? Outside the Confederacy, it was something like 90% of people voted yes, or 80% of people voted yes. I think it was 90 and 92%. That's what it was. And that's Republican and Democrats. But within the Confederacy, there were 91 Democrats and 11 Republicans. 8 Democrats voted yes, 0 for the Republicans. So that shows just how lopsided things were. Like, the South was so anti-civil rights that 95% of the politicians voted no, where in the North it was the complete opposite. So following that, the head of the Republican Party, who had been fighting for civil rights, hated the bill, Barry Goldwater, and he was a no against the bill, and then campaigned for president. And he lost in one of the most lopsided presidential races in history. But he won a majority of the southern states because he was anti-Civil Rights Act. So following that, because politicians are smart and notice trends, and seeing that Goldwater had won a lot of those states because he was conservative, because he was against the Civil Rights Act, others who were against the Civil Rights Act and conservative ran in his image. So they were Republicans then, rather than Democrats, and went into the South and campaigned as Republicans in the vein of Goldwater. And over time, you started to see that switch as I don't want to say racially biased, but the people that didn't want the civil rights became Republican politicians, and the people that were for civil rights and equality dropped the Republican name and became Democrats. And that was a process that took decades, but it happened. So it was crazy just to see all the conversation that Kanye engendered on Twitter, and that if you were to ask me that question 12 hours ago, I wouldn't have been able to answer it. I didn't know shit about it. But I spent hours today reading all kinds of articles just so I could argue with people on Twitter and have a more informed stance. Kanye West effect, I guess. So this is just an article overviewing everything that was going on and giving a great explanation of, and more details than what I gave, about how the migration took place. I guess switch makes it sound more immediate, but it was a migration, from one party to the other. So this is weird. This is very weird. This Crip, Daz Dillinger, sent out an alert to all the Crips to fuck Kanye West up. And he put this on Instagram and was just like, yo, fuck Kanye West up. And better not ever see you in concert, better not ever see you around the LBC, better not ever see you around California. We got a Crip alert for Kanye. And this is all because of Kanye saying that he loved Trump, which is kind of crazy. So now there's Crips that are coming after him, and this Daz Dillinger douche said, freedom of speech, fuck Kanye, this Crip, the revolution is on now. Which just seems crazy. Now Kanye has to worry about like his physical well-being because this dude doesn't understand the nuance of what Kanye's trying to do and is just reading headlines. Like, what the fuck? That's frustrating. So a follow-up article by the Daily Mail had the fact that following the Crip alert, Kanye's out with some bodyguards having dinner, and gets more into the details of that. There's a little bit of a connection. Snoop Dogg actually had this horrendous comment where he said, the evolution of Jay-Z and Kanye show you how influential your wife can be to your life. And the implication there, and this is post Kanye saying that he supports Trump, is that Kim has ruined Kanye, where Jay is just fine because of Beyonce's presence. Which is just, crazy, for one, because Snoop has not had good relationships, and then he's praising Jay-Z and Beyonce despite Jay-Z having cheated on Beyonce, and then condemning Kim as Kanye's wife for ruining Kanye because Kanye said that he loves Trump. Again, somebody else reacting to the headline rather than reading the fine print and saying some shitty things, which gets at what Kanye was saying back in November of 2016. When you have people speaking openly, they reveal themselves for who they truly are. Like, Snoop Dogg has revealed himself as being an asshole. And I don't know what Kanye's relationship is going to be with him moving forward. He'll probably say, I love you. But that's a fucked up take. So thanks, Snoop. Thanks for that. And thanks your friend Daz for putting a Crip alert on Kanye. In sweeter news, Shannon Carlin has this article on Refinery 29 where it turns out Kanye was playing Connect 4 as Chicago was being born. Kim was recently on Ellen and had some conversations about this, which was cool. She talked a little bit about Kanye getting back on Twitter and how it had actually surprised her. She didn't find out until the end of the day when Kanye came in and was like, did you see my tweets? She's like, you're back on Twitter. And Kanye loves Connect 4. Kim talks about that he loves it. He's the best at it. It's his favorite game. So if you're ever trying to figure out what you could possibly do to become friends with Kanye West, Connect 4. Host a tournament, host a celebrity Connect 4 tournament, and invite Kanye West. I claim that idea. Dibs. We're going to do that idea. Celebrity Connect 4 tournament. Going to invite Kanye West. We're going to get the boat that they used in the Mortal Kombat movie. Get everybody on the boat. I don't know where we're going to take them, but it's going to be great. And this is more emotional, I guess. Kanye had shared a text message with a friend where he said that he was going to use Jan Adams, the surgeon who performed Donda West's final surgery, as Jan Adams' face as the image for his album. And in response to that, Jan Adams sent this very long letter, which Kanye had a nice response to. Open letter from Jan Adams. This is amazing. Thank you so much for this connection, brother. I cannot wait to sit with you and start healing. And the letter is pointed. At times, it's condescending towards Kanye. It's been a decade. And Adams has told his story a lot. And I feel like his story and perception of things, that the surgery went fine. It was actually the care provided by Kanye's cousin that resulted in Donda passing. And I think that's really become part of the conversation, that it's not just the surgery killed her, but that her post-op care was the major issue. But here he really it feels like a few punches at Kanye, which some people said were earned, given the fact that for so many years, Kanye said that this guy killed his mom, and that might not be true. So it's fair to kind of bring up, and the fact that Kanye wanted to use this guy's mugshot as the album cover. But Kanye took it well. And I did like here that he said, when you have the opportunity, reach out to JL, who's probably John Legend. He is about love. He was not trying to influence you, your thoughts, or your process. His message was love, and he was only offering perspective. That's nice. He's trying to be helpful towards Kanye, despite the troublesome aspects of their relationship. The thing I just wanted to point out was it's a little dig at people, but I want to forgive and stop hating, he texted his friend named Wes, who wrote back, love everyone. West has been known to be close friends with director Wes Anderson, as well as his good artist Sheck Wes. But it wasn't either of those two people. Kanye was texting Wes Lang, the artist who was responsible for the Yeezus tour merch. So, come on, people. Come on. I'm just a random guy. You have an entire staff of writers and editors and people that do this. Anyway, that completes the episode. If you want to support us, we have a Patreon. If you want to give a little money, we're trying to get, not to 20,000, but we're trying to get to 300 per month so we can consistently pay artists to design shirts for us that are influenced by Kanye lyrics, Kanye songs. We have a shirt coming out hopefully in the next few days, but that's what one of the versions of it looks like. So you get discounts by supporting us. You'll get access to special episodes. You can also just subscribe to the YouTube channel and help us get to 4,000 watch hours in the 12-month period. We're currently at 400, so we have a long way to go. So watch any videos that you can and subscribe. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers. You can also just listen to our podcast on iTunes, Watching the Throne, a lyrical analysis to Kanye West. Leave a review on iTunes. That's very helpful for discovering and just rising up the charts. And follow us on Twitter, @Kanye Podcast. Any of those things are great. Thanks for taking the time. And until next time,